Hello, welcome to Soccer Yanks, a soccer news day podcast. I'm your co-host Dave.
And I am Dan, and we're going to bring you the beautiful game from the American perspective. The round, the semifinals finished up maybe about 2 hours ago, 3 hours ago, and we know who's going to be in the World Cup final coming Sunday, and that is going to be the great Germany versus the South American superpower of Argentina.
It's pretty crazy.
It's a very popular choice. A lot of people picked this final. The other very popular choice was Brazil versus Argentina, which we'll get to. Is probably a pipe dream. It was a pipe dream, knowing what we know now. But I think this is a classic battle. The last time they faced each other was in 1990. I think in the final, if I could be wrong, but I believe that Germany won. This you can't write a crazier script.
No, it's pretty. I'm glad to be alive this time in my life to see this because this is. I don't know. I haven't seen a lot of them. I've seen 5 in my lifetime, 6 at the most. And I think this is probably one of the most spectacular. I mean, it's covered unbelievably. First off, I mean, as an American, I don't think we've ever had coverage like this. People talking about it everywhere. I mean, everywhere I went today and yesterday, I had my Germany jersey on. People were left and right. I mean, I went to Barnes and Noble. 6 people I counted walking around, Germany jerseys, Argentina jerseys, soccer jerseys everywhere. It's like we're being immersed in it. It's here. Everything we were talking about 6 months ago. Anyway, sorry, I'm getting sidetracked.
Well, it's like we're in England or something.
Yeah, like people are like, knowledgeable, not encyclopedia knowledgeable, but they can carry a conversation about it. They don't, people are enjoying it. That's the most important part.
People are enjoying it. I mean, the whole talk about it thing could be. I mean, it's very very quickly. I could become a soccer elitist very quickly. I don't like it, but I emotionally and psychologically tune out a lot of these people because otherwise I'd go insane. Some of the stuff that I hear people say, and it's not, and I want the game to grow, and I want the game to be beloved. I know that there are some people that are just armchair analysts. They are that in the Olympics. They're that when it comes to the hockey playoffs and NBA playoffs and football playoffs. Like they show up occasionally and they pretend to be an expert. But I guess that comes with the territory with becoming popular. So I know that's why I just bite my tongue and I accept it and move on.
Like you can't be the same person who roots for Brazil, Argentina, the Dutch, and Spain. I'm sorry, you can't do that. That's just a rule. They switch now. They switch now. That's the dream.
Listen, you got to take your 99 theses and you got to nail it to the door of your local YMCA and let people know that you cannot root for every superpower.
But yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
No. You start off. I want to let you start off the Brazil Germany thing.
Okay. Yeah, I figured it'd be easier. I'll say my piece. I will make my points, and then I will concede the mic to you, and you will say whatever you want, counter to what I say, or agreeing to what I say, and then I'm never going to talk about it again.
You just bury that deep down inside.
I wrote about this today. It took me it took a lot out of me. I took a little out of my soul to write the stuff that I wrote, but it felt like it was a cosmic alignment of like everything being exactly perfect for Germany to perfectly dismantle Brazil. Tooth by tooth, nail by nail, completely dismantle Brazil. And a lot of it boils down to lack of discipline, lack of organization, lack of mental strength, to lack of resolve to come up with a plan when you go down from a mistake. I believe that Brazil has been treading water in the international stage on individual talent for I don't want to say for the last 20 years, 30 years, but it's been for a good amount of time. They've been treading on a lot of individual talent, and during that time, everyone else in the world got very, very good, not only on technical ability, but the other parts of the game, the tactics, the mental aspect of the game, the training, the studying of movement, the studying of nutrition and training methods, like all these other things. And I'm not saying that Brazilians haven't done any of that, but they've fallen behind. They were pioneers, and now they're just run of the mill. And they were living off the fear of the old way, and that fear was destroyed by Germany. You can't take anything away from this German team. They walked into Brazil, 23 men in hostile territory against the favorites, against the hosts. Thousands of people in the stadium, rabid fans. They sing that national anthem a cappella. It is deafening, and they keep their calm and cool the entire match. The Brazilians come at them for the first 10 minutes, and it looked like it was going to be an insane match. But you start to notice very quickly, Brazil has holding no shape.
No.
Holding no shape whatsoever, and the Germans never deviated from their plan. They took advantage of every space they had, and they punished Brazil. Now, do I think that Germany is 6 goals better than Brazil? No. I think that if they played this match 1,000 times, this result would only happen once. I'm not saying that Germany wouldn't beat Brazil more times than Brazil beat them in this iteration of Brazil-Germany. I'm not taking anything away from this German team, but this annihilation, this was perfectly set up. Like I'm saying, cosmically set up. It's just all the right elements were there. And I actually think, and I wrote about this, and this is something I really believe that Brazil needed to get humiliated. Because if they had lost by 1 goal, they would have made an excuse. There was no Neymar. There was no Thiago Silva. It was this. It was that. And then they would have kept going about treading water the same old way. Now they have to take a look at their system. Take a look at their managers. Take a look at their coaches. Take a look at their academies. They have to look at everything, and they go, what are the Europeans doing? What are the other teams doing differently than we are doing? What are we taking for granted? What are we not taking for granted? What are we doing well? What are we doing bad? Because I think they've kind of just almost, I'm not saying that Brazilian players haven't worked hard and they haven't put a lot of effort in, but the cohesion is lost. The beautiful game is lost. And this was needed.
Yeah, I think they were putting too much into the samba jar, and they thought they could draw off of that, and
it's
then the tactical preparation and the mental part of it. With that second goal, they could have came back. It was only the 18th minute, 2 goals down in Brazil, but the looks on their faces, the look on Marcelo's face was the same look I saw in his face against Croatia when he put that own goal in for the first goal, and he was like, "Oh my god!" And then he realized at that time that, wait a minute, it's only the third, or it was like the first 15 minutes he put that in, and he's like, the rest of this is coming. And then after that second goal, the entire team had that look on their face. It was pretty bad, but I don't have to tell you about it. Everybody saw the game. It was a. I just feel bad. I feel bad talking about it anymore because it's been talked about so much.
I mean, there's nothing you could say that the Germans did poorly.
I think what they knew was going to happen. They were going to have to commit their fullbacks because they didn't have an attacking front other than Hulk and Oscar. And the way that Marcelo overcommitted so early and Hulk overcommitted on that side against Lahm and Muller, the way they've been playing, it was just bound to that. I didn't think it was going to be that bad, but when I started to see that after the second goal and they were still going forward like that, and I understand why Marcelo was going forward. He's been in all the plays. He's the modern fullback that everybody talks about, that everybody wants to have, and the Germans capitalized on that.
Yeah,
and a lot of other things, but I think that was the main thing.
No, I want to state this very clearly, that it's not to take anything away from how good this German team was, but you can't even measure how good the Germans are because the Brazilians gave up.
I know it's diluted how
It's not. It's like I said. The Germans. I don't think the Germans are actually 6 goals better than Brazil, but they are better. But it's just you can't. Exactly what you said. It was at 2-0, and then they capitulated completely. And I forget who it was. I was reading one of the interviews, and one of the players said, "We never prepared to be behind. We never prepared to be behind. You never thought that Germany could score a goal against you." That's mind-boggling to me. That to me is that arrogance that needs to be squashed and needs to be taken away. And I'm not saying that we need to go and bow down to all the other teams in the world. No, but you need to start showing tactical respect to teams. And you need to be going out there. Maybe you want to try to impose your style, but what we saw was amateurs versus professionals. That wasn't imposed. That was nothing. That was not a professional soccer match. And to be honest with you, it wasn't even the Brazil that we saw leading up to the semifinals. They were much more organized. If they played like that against Colombia, Colombia would have beat them.
yeah.
If they played like that against Chile, Chile would have beat them. They were never this disorganized. And I think the emotion took over. The moment was bigger than them. And that's what. Go ahead. Sorry.
And everybody going into it was saying how bad missing Neymar was going to be, and it showed that Silva, obviously, that organizing body, that voice in the back line, say, "Hey, Luis, what the hell are you doing on the other side of the circle? Get the hell back here! What are you doing over there?" It was pretty insane. I mean, and again, I can't blame him because at that point you have to start making goals. And we talked about going into this, anybody on that team can score goals. It's just they didn't have a plan. They weren't organized. There was no plan B. Like what happens?
Oh, their plan A was shit too. Let's be honest.
Yeah, it's obviously, but it's they.
Well, it's okay. It is what it is.
It happened.
There are some other things. There's a couple of points I didn't talk about that I do want to talk about the game, and it's not really about Brazil, about the Brazil team. I think the coverage of the game, and more importantly, the post coverage of the game from ESPN, where they were making like little quips and jabs and snarky comments about, oh, there's no riots, and it's probably because of the rain. That's kind of like has an undertone of racism. It was just, where do you believe that these people would just burn the country down just because they lost a football match? They fabricated this idea and they ran with it for months, and it never happened. Okay, there was some buses set on fire, but hey, this whole protest thing started because of transportation costs. It was, and I'm not saying that burning down buses is acceptable, but in every single sport, there are bad seeds, but they were expecting a complete apocalyptic, like go into the panic room, the Men in Blazers panic room, because we're all gonna get abducted.
That was funny, that panic room.
But it's that idea, that fabrication, that media.
It's very small-minded.
Very.
You know what they're trying to do, and you got to think of this as a journalist. If you're a journalist from a journalism point of view, in 2 years there's going to be an Olympics. Right now, they're just starting the coals. They have a gold mine of stories now for the next 2 years leading up to the next white elephant thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
So they just planting the seed now in everybody's mind internationally that all these social issues exist. 6 months leading up to the World Cup, and now for the next 2 years they got that whole story to distract the whole world from whatever else is going on, and people will watch because now we all know about it because, well, look what happened, look at that loss. It has to be so sensitive, and now they really must want change. They forgot about that, and now this is the real problems, and that's going to be the new storyline. These are the real problems, and now they're going to have journalists down there, and it's a developing nation, it's an emerging nation, why not? But it's still a business journalism.
It's a little ridiculous.
And it's terrible. It's absolutely terrible to objectify a race and a culture like that, because it's seen as a religion by a lot of people, or viewed as a religion, the second religion. Obviously, some of the most Christian. I don't know. It's not a contest who's the most Christian, but Brazilians are very devout in their faith.
Latin Americans.
Yeah,
Latin Americans generally.
they're pretty intense.
But just my last point on Brazil, and I don't want to. I don't need to talk about it anymore. The people in the stands. Okay, some people were a little upset that they booed Fred, and they booed the team at halftime, but I think that's okay in sport to let your team know you've disappointed the fans. Where they really shined was when they applauded Klose when he was subbed out. They applauded him.
Oh yeah.
And at the end of the game, they could have easily been very ugly, and they applauded Germany, and they knew that Germany was a better team, and they gave them the round of applause that they deserved, and they ended it that way. That's pure class.
They were good. They were doing the ole ole ole, when they were past in like the 70th. Back. Nobody was even whistling at that point.
No.
Yeah, it was a. I tweeted before the game. I said we're gonna be telling our grandkids about this one. I don't know if you're gonna bring it up too much, but
no, I will. It's a lesson. It's a lesson.
It's absolutely incredible. I had chills. It still hasn't sunk in. It's so surreal. It was like when the Red Sox won the World Series in 2004. It took me like 6 months for it to sink in. I know there's still another game to play, but this is one of the best. From my perspective in my lifetime. I don't think I'll ever see a game like that. I don't think anybody will ever see a game like that. They're already coming out with those ELO ratings. I don't even know what the Electric Light Orchestra has to do with soccer, but the 50s Hungarian team from 1954, which was the highest rated of all time based on all kinds of weights of the tournament that they're in, and the old team and the new team. It's like a sabermetric kind of a thing for those like advanced stats. Well, this Germany team, as it stands now, are the highest rated. If they go on to win the World Cup, they will be solidified as the highest rated team of World Cup. It's pretty incredible.
It's possible they're playing. I mean, I think it gets skewed a little bit with that thrashing. I think the Germans have been very efficient and effective, but up until that game against Brazil, they weren't dominant.
They did. This is the philosophy though that people were talking about. I was expecting a 1-0 game when I turned this game on, because the last 3 or 4 games they weren't the beautiful football that they want, and all the players were saying, well, we're not out to play beautiful football. That's what we've been doing for the last 6 years, trying to do that, and it's gotten us a little bit just far enough, but not quite as far. We just want to win, and that's what I think they wanted to do. But then going into this game, I think that's what their game plan's been the whole time. I think that Portugal game was just like this Brazil game. Portugal made a ton of mistakes. Germany capitalized them. But the whole game plan going throughout this World Cup was 1, maybe 2, but lock it down after 1. Bus parking, if you will. I hate using that term.
I don't. But I don't. I kind of disagree with you. I don't think that they ever decided to lock it up. I think they just decided we are going to play a compact game. We are going to punish every mistake, and the other teams that they played didn't allow for many mistakes. It just the Portuguese allowed mistakes, the Brazilians allowed mistakes, the French. The French game. I think that game could maybe be a bus parking game because it almost seemed like the French didn't really push them too much. But the other matches, they were still trying. It was not like they sealed it up. It just happened to be that the other team was not creating a lot of mistakes, and that was their strategy, the ruthlessness. Like we're not going to get many opportunities, but when we do, it's going to be lethal. Mm-hmm. That kind. Let's talk about the other match. And then we'll go back to Germany, and we'll talk about a little bit, preview the final. Let's talk about the one that the snoozer that just ended.
I was just bored. I was expecting so much more, and I think most of the Twitterverse and social media was on the same page. I
mean, how the hell? It's like if you're a comedian, like how do you follow Andrew Dice Clay? Because that's what it was yesterday.
Yeah.
No matter what happened today. There was nothing that would have happened today that would have outshined yesterday. But I do think that people would have expected two teams to actually try to play soccer.
Yeah, it was
They,
like they got to the end of the box and the edge of the box, and they're like, ooh, 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 no, 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 icky toes.
I think yeah. I think what happens when you play the second semifinal, you already see that there's a team in the final waiting for you, and I think there's so much fear of being that guy that makes the mistake, being the person that's responsible for your team not going to the final. So I think, and on both sides of that, both both and the Dutch have been playing counterattacking football, so this was fine for them. This is fine for them. Argentina was trying a different, was much more direct, possess the ball, try to penetrate teams, but I heard, this is what I heard. This is not my original thought. I read this somewhere, I believe, on Twitter. But I'm going to repeat it. I don't know who said it, so sorry. But it was like watching a boxing match, and neither boxer wanted to throw a punch.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, 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 no. I don't want to do
No,
it yet.
it was just a lot of, it was like shadow boxing. It was like a lot of moving around. There's a lot of like head moving. Like I might punch you. I might move. Nope. I'm just nope. And then it's last 15 minutes it started to get a little dangerous, but then when it went to extra time, they went right back to no more mistakes.
You know what was bothering me? The way Robin was playing, like he I think he thought like he was the only person on the field. Once Huntelaar came on, Huntelaar was open on that cross on that first touch. Robin, every other the creative Robin would have known where to take the shot, take the cross, take the shot. The guy was open, but he wanted to be that guy, I think. And I think I don't know. I felt it was a little. I thought it was a little selfish the way he played. It was like he was going to do this himself, like he was going to try to Messi.
Let me ask you a question. Is it within the realm of possibility that Van Gaal's strategy was everyone hold the fort and Robin, you take it upon yourself? What we're going to do is we're not going to allow anybody else to be out of position. We're not going to allow anybody else to be give the other team anything. But by doing that, we're going to allow you the freedom to take it upon yourself. Do you think that Van Gaal would say that, would do that? Is it possible that it was just a game plan? That's what I'm getting at. Really,
It could have been. Yeah, it could have been get the ball the bang to Robin, or with Van Persie playing more drawn because he was sick leading up to it. So as they were reporting.
As a side note, Van Persie had the shits all week.
It was the lasagna. He got it from Sanya.
Okay, sorry. We can continue now. Huntelaar.
And then Huntelaar came in, him and his condominium for upper jaw, and did you see that guy's teeth? They're incredible. It just looks like a row of condominiums.
It's like a Dentine commercial.
Suarez would be jealous, I tell you that. Oh! Talk about Luis Suarez. Anyway, is this thing on? Okay. But Mascherano, I have to tip my hat. I hate the guy with all my guts. Not really. I never met the guy. He's probably a really nice guy. But he plays for Barcelona, so I can't root for him. But I have to tip my hat that he did a very, very good job playing defense in the middle, closing out that 91st minute. Robin came in, split second more. He got the tip of his toe on that. That was going in that bottom corner. He was about to break some hearts.
Yes, I'm kind of with you. I don't really rate Mascherano when he plays as a defensive midfielder, typically because I don't think for Barcelona he's talented enough on the ball, but for country, and also from when he was at Liverpool, I think it was a different player, excuse me, there was different expectations for him. But I think for Argentina, they've been saying it over and over, and he's been the leader. He's been the vocal leader. And they say Messi shows us, with how he plays. Mascherano, he talks. He leads with his words, so.
There was a video I just saw. It was translated by the professional lip readers of the internet. Take it for what it's worth. But there's a couple sources that are confirming this at least. Take it with a grain of salt, but in fewer words, he told Mascherano told the Argentine keeper leading into the penalties, "You're about to become a hero. This is you. This is this is your moment." And that was a hell of a penalty keeping performance. I have to admit, even though the first shooter was a defender,
Yeah, Vlar,
totally
who by the way had a great game as like on the defensive side. He had a fantastic game, except that penalty.
yeah, him and Blind and Derek Coat. I can never say his name. Derek Cout. But yeah, they're wanting him back at Liverpool now,
Yeah, perhaps. Wait, but you know what Van Gaal said? That there was two guys ahead of him that didn't want to take the penalty. Like when they were like deciding who was going to take the penalties, that he stepped up,
huh?
and then he missed. He's like, that sucks because there was other guys that didn't want that pressure, and he took it, and then he missed. Well, he was blocked. It was blocked. I don't think it was a very. It was a very good shot, if I recall.
It was weak. But how did the Dutch keeper not think that Messi was going to his left? Everybody in the world knew he was going to his left because he always goes to his left. Does it not matter?
I think it. I think Messi's ball was really well placed. I think he would have had to have cheated that side, and I think if he cheated that side, Messi would have gone the opposite direction.
All right, fair enough.
I don't know. Does it matter?
No, once it went in, and that's the game.
Does it matter? It's penalties.
I hate penalties.
I hate them too, but sometimes, it is a test. It is a way of determining. Well, the big talking point is they put Huntelaar in, blowing their last sub early in extra time because Van Persie was bone dry from all the shits. So they had no Kroll. They had no Kroll option in the penalties. I wonder how much scrutiny he's going to get for not trying to do that again.
Everybody was like, "What the hell is he doing?" When he did it the first time and it worked. So now he's an asshole because he didn't do it twice. Do you know what I mean?
No, I actually thought he was an asshole for doing it once.
It's like icing. He's like icing the kicker in football. It's the same kind of thing.
So I've come to find out that what he did was he told Krul that if they go to penalties, he's the penalty goalkeeper. But he never told the other guy.
Because it was Zeisman, whatever. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. The goalie from today.
Yes. He never told him that. Because he didn't want to affect his brain, but he wanted Krul to be prepared. So that's an interesting dynamic. Because when you pull a goalie, he's protected you 120 minutes, and you pull him for penalties. What is that really telling him? I don't trust you. That's a ballsy move because if you can't get that player, if you can't win that player over again, you've now lost him for good.
I gotta mention this because it doesn't get mentioned enough. You know Jose Mourinho's mind games?
Yeah.
Where did he learn them from?
Oh, it's Van Hall?
I think he did. I know Mourinho's very, very intelligent. He probably would have had his own, but I think he got a lot of lessons from that man. And all the other people he worked with. But this guy's that level of crazy, and I think this is where he learned how to be crazy. Because Robinson's a very straight, Sir Bob Robson was Sir Bob, he's Sir. Do you know what I mean? This is where he got the nut.
Okay, so Europe superpower, South American superpower, final in Brazil. The Germans are coming into this final on a high. I think the actual issue that Yogi Low is having right now is how do I keep my team grounded and hungry? Because what they just did was once in 100 years, like riding so high. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think and I'm not saying that the players themselves also know that they need to keep focused, but I think there's the mental challenge on that side because technically and tactically, I think Germany will be able to beat Argentina pretty easily.
I think all they have to do is isolate the and worry about whoever the other X factor is. Either it's Lavezzi or Aguero. We never know if Aguero, if he ends up starting, he'll be out by the 30th minute. I guarantee it. and I you heard it after from I think it was Kroos. He said that that win wasn't good enough. I mean, I don't know if he was just being a. I don't. He's I'm not the
No,
kind to say something like that. But
no, but there's certain talking points that you have to say.
yeah.
I think a lot of these athletes know that what the right things to say. Like they have the standard quotes. I think that's a standard quote that you give. Doesn't mean that in their heads it hasn't affected them.
Oh no. I mean I couldn't imagine going into that game what they were thinking walking out of that tunnel and singing the national anthems and then shaking the hands and then 30 minutes later it was going to be that. I mean, and and I gotta give them credit. I don't know what my reaction would have been, but they were just going into that locker room up five. I think it was at half, just staring straight in. They weren't rubbing their noses in or anything. Like they just kind of okay, let's go. This is getting crazy. The same thing
Yeah,
when they left. The same thing, and I saw a great picture of Shirla and Oscar, their teammates at Chelsea.
yep,
A nice. It was almost like a Ronaldo Khan moment
yep,
in '02 when he picked them up.
yep.
It was very. It was touching. I I felt was gutted when they kept cutting to those people in the crowds, especially that kid with crying into the cup. That was terrible.
Uh, yeah,
I,
it was.
I,
It was. I
I'm used to the fat kid rubbing ice cream all over his face, not the one crying into the cup. You remember the Germany World Cup?
Oh God, yes, I do remember. Now, let me ask you. I think I think you know the German team very well. I think you would, if you had to develop a game plan for Argentina to beat Germany, what would it be? And you can't say that there's no plan. There's got to be something.
Yeah. The problem is once you get to the other side of the circle into their attacking zone. I don't want to use a cliche wall, but the way Kadira doesn't go up front unless he knows there's nobody else on the attacking behind him. All those times that he was coming up to stop something, and there were two guys behind him against Brazil, and he just kept going with his run. Schweinsteiger was on the back, in front of that back line the entire time with Hummels uh, and Boateng right behind him, and all the back line was organized exactly where they had to be at all times. It's going to be very hard for that offense to get through that back line, and their counter is one of the best counters that I've seen. Still, I mean, it's
I
organized the way they can just get a ball out in a flash, a ball
Yeah,
from the back line straight out over the top, and they're off.
well, they transition. That's so why they're so dangerous. They transition so fast. But I think that the Germans have been playing a pretty high line. A lot sometimes they have. I think that behind only Costa Rica in offside traps. I think they do that because they're slow. And if there is a team that's got some pace, I mean, I thought Brazil had some pace, but obviously they had no organization. But if Argentina can apply that pace correctly, let's say for example, Di Maria is healthy by Sunday. I don't know what his status is right now, but you have Di Maria, Messi. I don't know if you're going to see also Lavezzi or Aguero. There's a lot of pace there. I believe that they could get behind that German defense, and the German defense will not be able to catch up. The key is obviously getting those passes through that midfield of Schweinsteiger and Kadira. It will be a difficult task, but I think if they can thread some passes, the speed on Argentina will be dangerous. I do not think that Argentina will be able to do it because I don't think they have enough creative flair in their midfield. But if there is a way to do it, that's the only way.
Yeah, I don't see many options for Argentina. Not saying that. I mean, obviously they got to the final for a reason. Um,
Yeah, because it's an easy draw. Sorry, it's the truth. The Dutch were the toughest team that they had to play, and the Dutch didn't even play them.
yeah, this is true. This is
That's
true.
the truth. That's the truth. That's the truth. And it's the draw. That's how it worked out.
Yeah, they're on the other side of the map. But I think between Kroos, and Kroos goes box to box too. That's the thing. He can drop back if they need another defender, and be that extra transition guy who gets the ball to Ozil, who gets the ball to Schürrle, who gets the ball to Muller or Klose, whoever's up front. And I don't know. I don't know if they'll start Klose. I'll tell you this: we're lost.
What was that?
I said every time Klose has started for Germany in the World Cup, Germany never lost that game.
Yeah, but I mean,
So,
that's yeah, okay. That's an interesting statistic, but it's
no, but that's
it's
what I'm saying.
it's also weighed heavily at a different era.
No, I'm trying to explain. I'm not done. So
Okay, I'm sorry.
I don't know whether I would rather have Klose up front because the way he's performed and the way what he's trying to achieve, or Muller up front in the middle because I really do think he plays better as that kind of poacher, free roaming between the right and in the middle. Because I think they'll be lopsided to the left on this game.
I think you want the player that's going to give you the most, and that's going to be Muller. I know you can't take anything away from Klose as far as what he has done, his achievement, but if you look at his body of work, he's a very like surgical poacher. He doesn't give you many more options. I think of all 16 goals he scored, they were within 8 yards of the goal.
It's nuts. It's nuts.
So that is a difficult task in itself, but it doesn't provide you other things. Muller on the field gives you way more. And if you put Muller in there, it also gives you an option of putting on a Götze or a Schürrle. Although they wouldn't do that because I think Lowe likes bringing him off the bench late in the game. But it gives you a different option. I think Klose is too one-dimensional. It's a final. Maybe you bring him in at the end of the game if you need something different, a change of pace, a guy with fresh legs. But I don't think. I think in this particular case, you don't start him. And I think that they played him against Brazil because I think they were expecting that they were going to have to. It was going to be a big counterattack game, not necessarily a. I don't think they were going to listen. They didn't. I don't think they were going to sell. I don't think they were going to plan for 5 goals in 30 minutes. So it became very strange very quickly. But I think Muller is the man, and I think you had said on Twitter I think that Muller is going to surpass Klose one day. It's very, very possible. He's already got 10.
He's 24 years old. He's got 10. He's got another game in this tournament to go, and he's trying to go for the Golden Boot for the second tournament in a row, which is another I think would be a record or tie a record.
I don't know the Golden Boot.
I think Ronaldo had 2 in a row.
Okay, it's possible. I don't know. That's.
I was reading up on it today. There was an incredible amount of statistics, good and bad, on both sides. I still can't even process all these numbers. Like I said, it's so surreal. But anyway, we'll talk about that after everything's done. Like we said, there's another game to play. But even if, from my perspective, if it's a negative outcome, just to witness that was incredible from my side of it.
I mean, I'm not a German fan, and I don't know the German history, very detailed. But I would imagine that win is probably, the only thing that I could see that win being surpassed by is lifting the trophies.
Yeah,
it's got to be number 4, and I think it might even be better than some of the trophies.
I mean, I would even consider embroidering half of a star on my jersey just for that game.
I actually feel honored about that.
It's like just the implications of it. Not even just if that was Brazil, Germany, and any other country. Okay, that's a crazy game. But just where it was, the setting, the time, the everything, the whole crowd was yellow, and that's another thing. Are they ever going to wear yellow again? Because they didn't wear white again.
Yeah, don't worry. They're going to wear yellow again. That you have to also consider what the chain of events that Germany has put into effect. If things go the way that I would like them to go, and that they do take a look at themselves 10 years from now, and you look at another monster Brazil squad, you may go, oh man, we did that. They could have just been the same old Brazil that we knew. A lot of hot air, a lot of flashiness, but not enough mustard to win it.
Hey, listen, if it makes the game better, it makes the game better.
It will make the game better. It will make the game better.
I think the World Cup with a flashy Brazil is part of it's like going to the boardwalk and getting a fucking funnel cake. You know what I mean? You got to get it.
Yeah,
You know,
I agree.
I
agree.
It's just what you expect. You know, Brazil. You expect Brazil to do some flash, Germany to kind of go in, do their thing. You know, their style. French are 50-50, and the English will score 4 goals.
There you go.
Maybe.
Maybe. So you want to give a prediction, or you think that's going to jinx it?
No, I'm thinking 3-1 Germany. That's my number.
I think it's a big game. I think it's going to be a little bit tighter, but I think it's going to be multiple goals. So I think 2-1 Germany. 2-1 Germany. Third place game. What the hell is Brazil going to do? Do they even want to come out and play?
That was what I was going to ask you. I don't know what if it would have been worse, if it's worse Argentina is in the final and could go on to win it in Brazil, or if it would have been a Brazil-Argentina third place game. And even more pressure, because if Brazil lost that on top of it, oh my God.
Oh, if it was Brazil versus Argentina third place game, it would be the most watched third place game of all time.
Maybe the bloodiest on the field as well.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm glad that it's not that. If Argentina wins the World Cup in Brazil, it'll be a travesty. This whole World Cup for Brazilians will be. I know it'll very quickly. The Brazilians went from living the high life to understanding exactly where Spain is right now. You know, it's very. You ask a couple of Spaniards, and they're telling you this is not a very good World Cup, and it's just because it's personal. It's personal. If Argentina wins the World Cup, and Brazil was decimated, and Argentina wins the World Cup, there's
gonna be a lot of atheists in Brazil.
There's gonna be a lot of atheists in Brazil. There's gonna be a lot of atheists in Brazil. There's gonna be a lot of unanswered prayers, man. But I don't think that's gonna happen. I don't think that's gonna happen. The third place game, I'm gonna be honest with you. It's the first friendly of the year. I don't put much into it. I don't think either of the teams. I'm sure the teams are professionals. They want to go out. They want to get third place. Maybe there's some money at stake for them, but it's really to me. It's the first friendly of the year. So whatever.
Yeah, no, they're usually entertaining though, and it's good for the bookies. So what's good for the bookies? It's always good for entertainment value.
Yeah,
Speaking of bookies, there were a couple who put like $20 or £20 on the seven score line for Germany. One guy had Germany to score 7 and Kadir to score 1. A £20 bet paid out £110, £110,000.
I don't believe those.
You don't think so?
I don't believe them.
Because I once put a $20 bet on Ajax against Man U at 17-1 on a joke bet, and it paid off for me.
It's possible. I guess anything is possible, but I think with the internet, unless there's like something that's verified, I just think it's somebody that photoshopped something, or somebody went into the system and put in like, what if I bet this? I don't know. I also don't know the betting systems. I've seen the slip, but whatever. That's awesome. That's awesome that somebody did that. Good for them.
Yeah, I did that when I was in Europe, by the way. You can't do that in the United States.
I know.
Unfortunately.
Let's keep sports betting out of sports.
Nah. It's a part of it. It makes it even more entertaining.
It makes you give a shit about stuff you wouldn't give a shit about normally.
It's hedging. My entertainment. And
I've got enough to worry about.
I don't know, man. If I could put $10 down and turn it into 50 on a parlay when Man City's playing Basel and Madrid's playing, some team from Cyprus, I might do that. It's just smart. I don't know. To me, if I'm comfortable with those teams, and it's my money, I earned it. Fair enough.
I'm not.
No.
To each his own. I'm not judging. I just. I don't need it. I don't need it.
I I think you would it would take over. We'd get into it a lot more. I think. I'm glad it's not here either. In the back of my mind,
Yeah.
the coupons, as they call it in Scotland.
Oh, the coupons. So that's where we're at internationally. There's some transfer stuff, some interesting things. Maybe
Yeah.
we'll. Do you want to get into transfer stuff? Or you want to call it a night? You tell me.
It's only a couple things. Sanchez is almost going to be a gunner.
That's a statement signing.
That's
Thank you, Ozil, for opening the doors.
Yeah. Evra might be leaving, or is more than likely going to be leaving to Juventus.
Well, they bought the young kid,
Luke
didn't
Shaw.
they?
But yeah, but they told Butner to go scratch,
Yeah.
or vice versa, whatever. He wanted to play Champions League football, so he went to Zenit. He's thinking about the future.
Sorry.
He's very yeah. It's not really offensive to me. I think it's kind of funny for him. Mario Mandzukic to Atletico Madrid because Lewandowski is taking his spot and his number. They announced number 9 for.
Yeah. And Diego Costa went to Chelsea, so that's like the domino effect.
Yes, exactly. Everyone kind of switched spots. Snodgrass to Hull, not really important. I just want to say the name.
Very, very good. Very good.
And Diouf to Stoke.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's for sure. That's for sure. Or is that still speculative?
There's pictures of him training on the facility. Welcome from their Twitter, I think. Diouf, let me double check. I'm more than positive I saw it this morning.
Nah, I'm okay. I don't care.
All right.
Stoke.
He must be stoked.
Yeah, he must be. He's gonna be playing with all those Americans.
But yeah, that's all I got.
All right, so after Sunday, international football ends, and then we're in the midst of Major League Soccer. We got some things bubbling here at Soccer Yanks headquarters with Major League Soccer. You'll learn more about that as the time comes. Can't really say much yet. And the Premier League starts again, which is your favorite and my favorite as well, and our two favorite clubs, Arsenal and Manchester United, will don their new kits. Yours with the giant emblem, letting everyone know America.
It's called the bow tie. It's from Chevrolet, and that's what it's referred to as.
What is the what's the Texas tie called?
Bolo.
It's like you guys got a giant bolo on your chest. And we with Puma now have the nipple shirts.
I haven't seen them yet, but you know what? Between Adidas, I think it's supposed to be like what, 700 million pounds, over the term of the contract. It hasn't been finalized yet, but those are the numbers that are being thrown around. And then Chevrolet is giving this astronomical amount of money to put that on the front. You know what? If it means we can afford maybe, I don't know, whoever we want to, ever, I'll take it.
Well, the way that the inflation in soccer is going, you will not be able to afford whoever you want, because the reason why you need those numbers is because even the average guys, even Luke Shaw costs you £30 million.
That's what I'm saying. We have to be able to put ourselves in a financial position to be able to get these kind of players if we want all of them.
No, yeah, well, if you want, right, but unfortunately, it doesn't necessarily mean that like you're going to have this massive war chest. Everyone's getting more expensive. You're still going to have a war chest. It's just not like, don't think you're going to buy a £100 million player.
No, but
it's not going to happen. Still,
this is a part of the financial fair play. It puts us in
absolutely.
It puts us in a green zone.
Absolutely.
We don't have to worry about being a city or whoever the hell, you know.
But I have to ask you though, because you've had a tinfoil hat conspiracy theory about Cristiano Ronaldo and Nike. Is Cristiano Ronaldo going to become an Adidas player now?
Well, you know what? He's been playing in Adidas for the last 6 years, so it's probably not a problem with him. But I think the Nike side of the negotiations is probably out of it by now. Maybe we get Messi.
Oh my God! If Messi goes to Manchester United, you're going to have to eat at least like 1 or 2 hats.
Oh my God!
All right. On that note.
He'd come to Red Bulls before he goes to United.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. He's never going anywhere. He's staying right there. Well, this has been an exciting 3.5 weeks. This just the final stretch now. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you want to read some of the stuff that we write, or you want to, we do stuff on other leagues, Major League Soccer, and we write a lot. There's actually a lot of writing going on these days. Go to socceryanks.com. You can find all that stuff there. We also have a Facebook page. You can interact with us and some of the other writers on there. But the best way to get us is on Twitter, and I am at SoccerYankDan.
And I'm at SoccerYankDave. And I'm sorry, you on? Go on.
I was going to say, feel free to send us a message, and we will gladly ignore you. Just kidding.
Yeah, no, we'll interact. I know how to do emojicons now.
Oh, really?
It puts some context to my stale jokes.
I have a feeling it's just going to be a bunch of little piles of shit.
It's a metaphor for my tweets.
He's a bit shite.
Scheisse.
All right, folks. I'm going to go play some FIFA now and put the controller down on the Germany side and then play as Brazil and emulate what just fucking happened.
I put my trust in David Luiz when I played my Ultimate Team earlier, and he still works for me. So, I'm going to keep him. All right, thanks for listening, folks, and enjoy the final. I know who I am.
Good night.
Kalima. Kalima. Kalima Shakti De.